Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 100. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, I want to thank you for investing your time with me. Time truly is our greatest asset, and the fact that you're willing to share your time with me truly does mean a great deal to me. So today, we're reaching a milestone for the Mindset Architect Podcast, and it's episode number 100. And I want to share a little bit of behind the scenes as to what happened as I was preparing for this episode. And, it takes a bit of work. Every episode that we produce here for you we take very seriously. And when we got to episode 100, I was reflecting on, I couldn't believe how fast it went. And then I started doing the math. And that means if I'm on episode 100, 100 weeks have gone by since I started my journey with the Mindset Architect podcast. And I remember when I did episode number 1, and I was judging myself a little bit against other people because I did a lot of research on what podcasts are out there, what was really popular, what did my listeners need to hear. And I was like, gosh, I'm going to be episode number 1. They're on episode 200. I started that judgment game. And I remember thinking, A, is this going to work? Is it going to be received? And am I ever going to get to, the 100 plus mark? And I thought it's just so far away. That's almost 2 full years out, right? 104 episodes will be our 2-year anniversary. But regardless, here we are. And I share this with my clients a bit. Doesn't matter where you're starting. There is always going to be a future target, right? Whether it's 90 days from now, that date's going to happen regardless if you do something or not. Why not make that meaningful? For me, episode 100 was going to happen regardless. Let's make it meaningful on the journey. So what I wanted to do for you all today was make sure that today's episode was powerful and that you would walk away with some great resources. So I went back and I looked at the 100 episodes and I did some research. Actually, my podcast manager, who's brilliant, did some research for me and identified the top 5 podcasts that had the most downloads, most comments, most phone calls that I've received, all of that data. And I just want to do some highlights over those top 5 because they may be the 5 episodes that you either haven't heard or would be a good revisit for you to extract some great information. If they landed so well with others, there should be some great information you can extract from them. So the first one, and this is not in order of most important to least important, but the first one that hit and struck a chord was episode number 88, 90 Days to a Different Outcome. And this ties into what I was saying in the intro. You can have whatever outcome you want in 90 days. A lot of times as realtors, entrepreneurs, we look at this 365-day span, and it can seem overwhelming sometimes. It can also seem like you've got plenty of time. When we condense the goal sprint to just 90 days, it changes a lot of things for you. It changes the chemical release in your brain because a 90-day goal is very achievable. And it condenses our timeline so we don't get seduced into thinking, I got plenty of time, and then we run out of time. So I just want you to think about what would you do in 90 days if you could have whatever outcome you wanted to have? Because the 90 days is going to happen regardless. So we might as well make it impactful. And 2 things that I talked about that I think are really important in this episode was number 1, get really clear on your goal. And it's different than a 12-month goal. It's different than a 3-year or 5-year. This is a 90-day goal. So you may take that 12-month goal, break it down into 90 days, and the 90 day into 30 days, 30 into 7, but really get clear on what that goal is. Where are you going to go in 90 days? At the end of 90 days, what is the goal that you desire to achieve? And get really clear on it. Have that vision of that goal in front of you at all times. You might decide to create a 90-day vision board. I love vision boards. I've got one over here to my right that has my annual vision. And then I also am and have created a 90-day vision board because I believe in the power of seeing that. I also think for us, it's really important that you act as if you've already achieved that goal. So 90 days from now, so it's the end of July, so that'd be August into October, be November 1st, to sit with it saying, hey, it's November 1st and this is what I achieved. Speak as it's already happened and live in that space that you've already achieved the goal. It changes how it records on your brain. Your brain doesn't know the difference really between real and make-believe. So it's going to make the assumption that you achieved the goal, and it's going to now be more helpful on your journey to that 90-day goal that you've set. It's really pretty magical. The other thing that I would encourage you to do is to, manage your time at a higher level. One key thing that I learned years ago that has made the biggest difference is I make all my decisions the night before. And that may seem strange, yet for me, today is Sunday. I've already looked at tomorrow's schedule. I know exactly what I need to do, my most powerful activities. And rather than just say, hey, I know between 9 and 10, I'm going to do an hour of lead generation, I have today outlined exactly who I'm going to call and what I'm going to talk about. So when I show up tomorrow, the decision is already made. I know what I'm going to say and I know who I'm going to call. That 1 hour of lead gen turns into pure activity versus who am I going to call? What am I going to say? Let me get their name and number. It's all done. All decisions were made for me for tomorrow have already been made. I just need to show up. The other resource that I would say, if we're looking at managing time, because now we've taken that 365 and condensed it to 90 days, is to get really clear on what's urgent and important or not urgent and important. It's the Eisenhower Matrix. There's 2 sides to this matrix. Look it up. It's one of the most powerful matrices you can use to manage your time. It's an urgent side and a not urgent side. It's urgent, important, meaning you got to do it. They're critical activities with clear deadlines and significant consequences if you do or don't do them. Urgent, not important, staying on the urgent side simply means it's important, but you don't need to do it. So it's urgent, but not important, meaning it needs to get done, but you don't need to do it. That's something you could delegate to somebody else. We move over to the not urgent side of the quadrant. Not urgent and important simply means I don't need to do it today. Let me look at my schedule and put it down for a future date. And then we have not urgent, not important. This quadrant shows up a bit, and honestly, you can delete it. There are really tasks that are going to distract you and keep you off course. So the Eisenhower Matrix is really brilliant for helping you manage time if you choose to do the 90-day make whatever goal you want happen. You've got 90 days to whatever outcome you want to have. So that was episode number 88. Take a listen. We do a deep dive on it. Then episode number 86 was about 20% can get you 80%. And what that simply means, and this is what I love, is that if we focus on the right activities, if we focus on the high impact activities, we can get to goal. And this falls right in line with Pareto Principle, right? And it's always this way in everything. 20% of the entrepreneurs in the real estate world are doing 80% of the business. It's always 80-20, 80-20. And it's like that as well when it comes to activities. I like to divide it up and say, hey, my 20% are my key activities. My 3 strategies that I'm going to use to lead generate to get me to goal. Those 3 strategies are my 20%. If I spend my time focused on that 20%, I'm going to get a minimum of 80% of my goal. Minimum. And then other sales will trickle in through other activities. But if I really focus on the 20%, I'm going to get 80 to 85% of my goal achieved. If we spend time in the 80%, that is where I say we go to hide. That 80% is really distraction. It's a place where we might go to do a task just to get it done and feel good about accomplishing something, but it's not the important task that's going to get you to goal. So pay attention to your 20%. If you focus on that 20%, those critical activities, lead gen, lead follow-up, going on appointments and negotiating contracts, those 4 things are your 20%. If you focus on that, you're going to get to goal, at least 85% of it. So go take a listen to episode number 86 and see how simple you can make things, that you can boil your schedule down to this key 20% bucket. And what I know to be true is when you do that, you give yourself the biggest gift in the world, and it's the gift of time. For the clients that I've coached, for myself, when I stay focused on my 20%, a lot of the time I can be done with my day by noon or 1 o'clock at the latest because I've gotten all the really necessary critical activities done. Now, I'm not saying at 1 o'clock I check out and go to the beach or go for a hike, but it does make my day more impactful when I get the heavy lifting done, that 20%, and it's done for me by 1 o'clock at the latest. Then I have the rest of the day to do some other activities that will lend to me getting to goal. But you will give yourself back the greatest gift. And I say it at the beginning, time is our most valuable asset. When you focus on your 20%, you're doing the key activities that are driving you to goal. So that is episode number 86. Your 20% can get you to 80% of your goal. Take a listen to it. Episode number 66 was a fun one because I addressed a topic that we don't talk about very often, and it's what not to do. That's the name of the episode. And this was a question that one of my coaches asked me that made a huge difference in me identifying exactly what I should be doing. It plays into the 20%. We all know what we should be doing. I'm going to make an assumption that we all have a business plan and that we have strategies. If you're an entrepreneur, business owner, leader in a corporate world, we got a business plan. We know what to do, right? We know what we should be doing. And we focus on that. Yet what ends up happening is a portion of the time, 80%, we spend some time doing things that we shouldn't be doing, what we should not be doing. And what I loved about my coach asking me this question was it made me aware of what I should not be doing, which made me aware quicker when I was in that lane versus the lane of what I should be doing. So let me make this make sense. I know what to do. I know to grow my business, I have to lead generate. I've got to follow up. I've got to have sales calls, and I've got to convert, right? That's my job, or a portion of my job as the leader of Rethink Coaching. I know what I shouldn't be doing. I know what not to do. Yet I find myself doing those activities sometimes, like a social media post, like checking to see how many people have looked at it, how many people have responded. I don't need to do that. I've got a team to help me with that. But I slide into that every once in a while. But the second I sat down and wrote out my list of things not to do, it became crystal clear to me of where I need to not spend my time. And this was a challenge. I'll be very honest. It was a challenge for me in the beginning to break some of those old habits, to really just say, okay, this is what I should be doing, and this is what I shouldn't be doing. Where am I spending my time? So one of the things that I did, and I've had my clients do this, is set a timer on their phone to go off every 15 minutes. And why do I have them do that? Because when the timer goes off, I want you to look at what you're doing versus what your calendar says you should be doing, because your calendar is full of your what to do versus your what not to do. And it was a great way for me to break the habit of just kind of sliding into, okay, here's the calendar. I know what I should be doing. And now I'm over here doing this other stuff. I did that for a long time until I really got into the rhythm of only doing what my calendar was saying I should be doing at that given time. My productivity shot through the roof, and I was moving towards my goals at a faster clip than ever before. One simple question changed everything. Do you know what you should not be doing? Get clear on it. And then when you're doing it, I promise you're going to be like, oh, that's one of those things I shouldn't be doing. And you're at least aware of it. If you do not focus on it and become aware of it, you're still going to do it and not realize it's something that's holding you back. So what not to do, episode number 66, is super powerful in helping you stay on track with the tasks that we know we should be doing. Then episode number 74, this was a great one as well. This talked about only the motivated. And you might think this means you, right? Like, am I motivated? And really the episode is about how do you identify and only work with motivated customers or clients? because we tend to spend time working with people who aren't motivated, and we don't realize that their lack of motivation is most likely going to derail any opportunity or chance of a sale making, whether it's a house or buying a item that you sell, whatever it is. If people are not motivated, you really shouldn't be spending a lot of time and energy on them until they become motivated, or we can help them discover their motivation. When I work with folks, and I'm at a great place in my business that I have an amazing book of business, and all of my clients are motivated, and I know what their motivation is. When I know that they're motivated and I know their motivation, I can use it with them to get them to take action, because I can remind them of why. What are we doing here, right? This is why we're doing this. So without motivation, you don't have that lever to pull to help somebody go towards their goal. I talked about 5 warning signs of working with a non-motivated person. You might notice they have a lack of urgency. You might notice that the responses they give are fairly vague or non-committal. Pay attention. Frequent fluctuations of interest. They run hot, cold. Like one day they're all in. We got to go see this. We got to go do that. You got to tell me about this product. And then the next day it's like, oh, I don't really have time for that. They run hot, cold. The other is low engagement in the process. So you feel like you're kind of pushing a string uphill. It's like, how do I get these people motivated or engaged? It's a sign that they are not motivated. And I can help them discover their motivation. I can't motivate them. And then unrealistic expectations. I personally think when people set an unrealistic expectation, it's a way for them to hide because they're not really motivated. And there's a slim chance that that unrealistic expectation could ever be met. And therefore they get to hide in their non-motivated state while you're running around like a crazy person trying to get them to do something. So pay attention. I know in the beginning of your career and building your business, there's a temptation to work with anybody and everybody because you need money. But pay attention. I promise you, if you're spending time working with non-motivated, you're blocking yourself from receiving motivated customers that could take that time. I don't say delete them. I would nurture the non-motivated until they either find their motivation or you can help them find it. But if they are not motivated, they move down in the rung of how much attention they get from me, because I'm going to give that attention to the motivated so I can help them achieve their goal. And I'm not busy running around with somebody who really is probably not ever going to do anything. So pay attention to working only with the motivated. That is episode number 74. And then the number 1 episode, there's actually 2 for a tie for this one, is, as you can imagine, the episodes around thoughts. I believe thoughts drive all results. And there's episode number 1 and episode number 70, where I address the thought flow model. I could talk for 10 hours about this. And I'm going to encourage you, if you're going to follow the Mindset Architect, that you go and you listen to episode number 1 and you listen to episode number 70. It is the foundation for everything that we do as coaches at Rethink Coaching, and everything that I speak about to you is based upon this model. That something happens, a circumstance, triggers a thought. Thought's just a story, right? A thought happens and your brain needs to create a story around it so it can comprehend it. That thought and story generates a feeling, an emotion, or an energy, all right? That happens. You either have a strong feeling about something, an energy around something, or an emotion. That drives action, whether you take it or don't take it. If you take action and you got crummy feeling, energy, emotion, you're not going to get great results. So the thoughts drive feelings, energy, emotion, which impacts your actions. Actions impact your results. Thoughts drive all results. It all starts with the thought and story you have. And in both of those episodes, they give you some great resources and tools on how to reframe the negative thought, or how to reframe the disempowering thought that's trickling down to results. Because when you do not achieve a result that you know you can, or a result or a goal that you have set for yourself, 90% of the time, it's not because you don't know what to do. It's because the thought is keeping you from taking action, or a thought is polluting the action you're taking, impacting the results you're going to get. If you want a bigger life and a bigger business, you must start working on your thoughts. That will change everything. The market doesn't make your business, your mindset does. This thought flow model is the one model that I was introduced to in 2010 and did a great deal of research and work on it for myself and my clients. That has made the biggest difference in my ability as a coach, as a business owner, as a friend, as a brother, as a spouse, all of those things to help people move towards their results at a quicker pace. So those are the top 5 episodes that had the greatest impact. And I think they're worthy of a revisit. It was fun for me doing this because I went back and listened to them and took the time to pay attention and just extract a few highlights out of them. But these 5, actually 6, because there's 2 on thoughts. These episodes, if you take the time to go back and listen to them, can make a difference for you. So it's episode 88, 90 Days to a Different Outcome. It is episode number 86. 20% can get you 80%. It is episode number 66. What not to do. Creating that awareness. Episode number 74. Only the motivated. And then lastly, episode 1 and episode 70, which are based around the thought flow model, which if you follow us and you go back and listen to old episodes or future episodes, will make the episodes make more sense and more impactful for you. So I can't encourage, if you're not wanting to listen to all of them, I would say for sure go back and revisit episode 1 and episode 70. Those 2 are powerful and will help you on your journey, whatever it is, to have a better business, to have a better life, to have a better relationship, have better health, whatever it is. That thought flow model impacts all of your results. Thoughts truly do drive all results. So as always, huge gratitude and thanks to the people that listen to this podcast on a regular. We're in 34 countries and have thousands of downloads. And that's not bragging. That is just saying that I appreciate you. I appreciate your trust. I appreciate your time that you've invested. The episodes are 20 to 25 minutes. So you're giving us some time to listen to them. But my commitment to you as we move forward to our next 100 is that they will continue to be full of information that can make an impact on your life, your business, your relationship, whatever it is. Any questions, please reach out to me. Tony at rethinkcoaching.com is the easiest. That's my email. That'll come directly to me. If you want to grab a 1-hour call with me, that's free. Send me a note. You can find me on all of the social media outlets. Also, you can go to our website, rethinkcoaching.com. You can fill out the information box that shows up with your name, contact information. That comes directly to me for a free strategy call, and I'll reach out to you and we'll get it scheduled, and we'll spend an hour together talking about whatever it is that might be holding you back in your business or life from getting to the goal that you want to get to. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'm really looking forward to our next 100 episodes together. Go make it a great week. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.